This is C.R.P.H.A, humanitarian citizen advocate, and today's topic is going to be about California Governor Gavin Newsom. As not very many of you may or may not know, that there is a petition out there, in where the governor obviously is thinking that is a rumor. He thinks that it is just, shall we say, a passing word of mouth, obviously. In addition, he thinks that it is not true that there's a petition out there to recall him. Gavin, there is a petition out there. It's not rumor. It's not a passing word of mouth. It's not anything in the influence of where it would consist of being untrue. It is more than factual. It is more than a real thing. And here's the other part of it, though, too, ladies and gentlemen. American people, I should say, really, too. And that is simply, I have written something that I also shared on a particular site, social media site, and I'll read it to you here. It seems that Gavin is more than aware of the recall movement, or if you want to really call it a movement, of course, but nonetheless. But he thinks it's still not going to go anywhere, and and that he will not be affected by it. And with that, he thinks that if at all, he will still win the election along with the state electoral vote to where he would be able to remain as the state of California's governor. And he is deluded in thinking that the higher percentage of the state's population is more than pleased with his things that he may claim to be a benefit to and for the state and its citizens and the youth. In the in the state, even with the dealings and situation with the politically motivated pandemic, makes it easier to win the election for his second term in the governor seat. See, that's where he's deluded, ladies and gentlemen. Yet, in the actual percentages, is that Gavin Newsom will lose the election. That would again lead to his second term in office. Gavin refuses to see that for what it is. But as it stands, there is a recall petition to remove Gavin Newsom out of the office, seat, and position of California State Governor. And it's currently leading more to where Newsom will be removed from the seat of governor. Even if Gavin only sees it as a rumor, let him think that. Let him think and see it that way, but essentially, but he will even try to fight against it. by the way that he has the support. He has the support of and backing of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And with that, he thinks he will win, even with that support of socialist liberal politicians. One of who is also supposed to benefit and support California as well, but she is not doing any positive benefit to and for the state of California and its citizens and the entire country of the United States. If Nancy Pelosi thinks that she is doing a positive, beneficial thing to and for the state of California and the U.S., she is senile, not with real reality, and more diluted and more delusional than Gavin Newsom is. So we can all make sure we need to make sure that even if Gavin tries to fight against it, the recall petition, we need to make sure we need to make it where he has no chance, no legal leg to stand on if he were to fight against it. So we can say bye-bye to the liberal socialist Gavin Newsom. The state of California and its citizens and its youth deserve better than to have just words and promises that never materialize with no positive, beneficial, and helpful action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, American people in the state of California, you know that to be true. It is an actuality that Gavin Newsom himself, aside from being, looking at the end result of the fires and the hillsides, which I'm not saying that's important. I'm not saying that's not important. But but even before the fires, Disneyland, and I'm sure many other amusement parks want to go to points of reopening, and many other establishments want to go to the points of reopening to where they have public seating. Disneyland even has reported that a while ago or so more that they feel that they have um, gotten the right measures and whatnot to be able to reopen, but they needed to basically get Gavin Newsom's go ahead because they didn't want to be cited with any, shall we say, infractions, even done by given by the state from the state governor. And yet, at the same time, Gavin wants to reopen the state. One thing Gavin needs to realize that many people are gradually realizing that the pandemic is mental manipulation of an action towards and against the American people done by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer within the Democratic Party. Many people are deluded or being more mind manipulated into thinking that it's an actual thing. Yes, it may be an actual thing, but guess what? The strain that came into the U.S., and I've said this so many fucking times, that the strain in the U.S. was very weak, and that happened within the time that that this state and many other states have had high double-digit to triple-digit temperatures. And with that, the strain that reached the U.S. was very small, very weak. You might even say it was insignificant. And with virus strains, you know that the virus strains don't handle heat very well. To the point to where if they are hit by the aspect of any high temperature heats, heat, like a fire or whatever, that they will cease to exist. They will become nothing but just liquid or evaporation of a substance that goes in the air. And I know I've said even on my advocate videos here that my friend next door here read an article not too long, well, maybe more than a while ago now, that they tested it in every room, every hospital room practically. I'm not sure exactly how many hospitals did this exactly, but it was shown and proven that the virus is not a airborne substance. So the aspect of wearing a mask is not logical. So that means you could still be like this instead of like this. In fact, everybody has been walking by and with each other even without masks, and I've seen it. The only time that they wear masks, if at all, is when they go into establishments. But if they need to order something, they do this. They pull the mask off to where the person that's taking the order can hear them. So, Gavin, you need to wake up and realize that, as well as the fact that we are the California citizens are not pleased with your actions and non-actions and your phony ass continued promises and words of encouragement, if you want to call it that, as well. Because it's been proven before you became a politician, Gavin, that not all politicians carry out with what they say they will do and what they promise the American people. And obviously, you followed along the same lines. Obama promised a lot of shit. He never pulled through with any of it. Jerry Brown promised a lot of shit that was supposed to be beneficial for the American people within the state of California. He never really did any of it. He only did so far that it only benefited the party. If he did that at all, which was very little benefit for the citizens, but a large percentage of benefit for the party. And that's not the way it's supposed to be going. It's supposed to be for and about the people first before it goes to the party. It's been like that since the beginning of time, the beginning of any formation of a government. It's been like that even before the Constitution was put in place to the points of its existence. It was like that even before the Bill of Rights. It was like that even before this whole entire country became a United States. So, Gavin, you know I've written to you, and you know that I've said that you need to take down the sanctuary city and state status, which is against the Constitution. And the only reason that Jerry Brown put it into place is because it was a personal vendetta against Trump. Like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer did a personal vendetta against Trump by doing the impeachment inquiry, when really Trump didn't do a damn thing against the Constitution. It was just a little childish bullshit vendetta action type of thing, to where it was put in place to go against the winner of the election, being Trump again, because and yet it was to show that they would do anything and everything to do Trump in, because they didn't like it, the fact that they lost, that their party lost, that the Democratic Party lost this in 2016. Instead of dealing with it professionally and like an adult, they acted like little fucking children. Little fucking stubborn little crybaby, when I want a lollipop type children. When I want my way type children. Now, and even before then, the Democratic Party has gone against the American people. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. Our forefathers did not set it up to be that way. Our forefathers set up the two parties to where they benefit the American people in this country, not to where they go against its own people, its own citizens. Yet that's exactly what the liberals have done. The Democratic Party has done. They've gone more against the American people than they've done anything beneficial. Yes, in the past they've done more beneficial than against, and which basically goes to 0% of against, more and a higher percentage of beneficial in the past. And then this would have to be before JFK and even a little after JFK. But when it came to Carter, hell no. They did not go in any beneficial aspect when it came to the Carter administration for the American people. Yes, they only went to a moderate to low percentage of beneficial aspects, even during the Reagan administration. The Democratic Party did that. But then even before Obama, even after after Bill Clinton, the Democratic Party started going more against than for the American people. Then they even did more against the American people when in the Obama administration. Then even when Jerry Brown was put in office for his second time around in the state of California, the Democrats even went more against the American people, and only more beneficial aspects for the party. And I know for a fact that the forefathers would be turning in their graves with that negative, sinful action done by the Democratic Party. And even with the fact that the liberal Democratic Party are mentally manipulating the American people, even with this politically motivated pandemic, that's also where or the forefathers would be turning in their graves on and about, and for the reason of as well. And the fact that the Democrats want, the liberal idiot socialist Democrats want a big government when they know full well that a big government is against the Constitution. And I'm not going to debate it. What I have said, even Kabuki Wookie, you have wanted to debate it even on video comment sections that are not appropriate. I'm not going to debate it. If you want to believe it, fine. If you don't, I don't really give a damn. But I will not BS the American people of what I say, because what I say is more than an actuality. Whether you want to see it or refuse to see it, it will still not. It will still not stop being an actuality. Gavin, you know that the high tax plan needs to be taken down because it's not doing anything beneficial for the state of California. Neither is the sanctuary city and state status, in which I mentioned was only a personal vendetta against Trump by Jerry Brown, and who many used to call Moonbeam Brown in the 1970s. And yes, there was something that was new to me at the time, that when Jerry Brown left the seat of office in his first term as California state governor, there was a Proposition 13, I believe it was. The people wanted it, he didn't. But yet it went through anyway. And then, of course, it passed. But he didn't really take to consider it. But when Jerry Brown came in, even after the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger, the actor, screwed up the transportation funding by dipping into it illogically, because the transportation funding that he dipped into, that Schwarzenegger dipped into, a number of bus lines were eliminated in various numbers of counties across California, including Santa Clara County. And a number of bus routes were revamped, changed. That put a negative effect towards the population within each county and city and within the state of California, even within the towns of California. But Jerry Brown did not rectify that. What he did was simply what he wanted to do, which was waste taxpayers' money and the state budget to get a high-speed train, which is still not even in reality right now. Then when Gavin comes in, that he wanted to shorten it, but still spend taxpayers' money as well as the state budget on it. But still nearly bankrupt the state as much as Jerry Brown did, or even attempted to. Jerry Brown also, he knows this, that even Gavin Newsom knows this. Jerry Brown announced the high tax plan, claiming that there's all beneficial aspects to it, and for the state of California and its citizens. And yet, even after that, the media, the liberal media and conservative and moderate media sources, even within the radio aspect of the media, and also the newspaper aspect of the media, many people have said, many even Californians have said that the high tax plan would not do anything beneficial for the state of California and its citizens. So therefore, Jerry Brown, you were delusional in your own little fantasy world. Yet, did that stop Jerry Brown? No, he didn't even take that into consideration at all, obviously. Because if he did, he wouldn't have done what he did with Prop 39. Prop 39 was advertised, and I know I've mentioned this. I feel like I'm repeating myself like a damn broken record. But anyway, Prop 39 was supposed to be for California school funding. Everybody liked that. Every parent in the state of California liked that. In fact, they liked it so much that they voted on Prop 39 to pass. But while they were doing that, unbeknownst to the citizens of California, Jerry Brown, it's even been said on a mid-sized, moderate-sized article of the Sacramento Bee newspaper that Jerry Brown went behind closed doors while the voting was in action. Jerry Brown went behind closed doors and went through the legislative loophole of Prop 39 and changed it to his high tax plan. Even with him knowing and the media knowing that nobody was for his high tax plan whatsoever. But that didn't matter to Jerry Brown, obviously. Like I said, he wanted to benefit the party. He didn't give a damn about benefiting the American people in the state of California. I know he'll deny that, but it's the truth. Because if he really wanted to benefit the American people and our youth, then he wouldn't have fucking done that while Prop 39 was about to be passed as is California school funding. So that's no true benefit to and for the American citizens and the legal citizens of California. So for that and many other reasons that Gavin, you need to take down the high tax plan. And in addition, you need to take down the sanctuary city and state status. Because all it is a blanket, a metaphorical blanket for the illegals, to where they can come in with no provocation against them. Instead of coming in here legally, they come across the border illegally. And like I said, I'm a spiritual person, and I know that Heavenly Father loves each and every one of us, and also that He loves even the ones that came across the border and who are also His children, even with the fact that they came across the border illegally. But that doesn't give them a free pass now, does it? No. That doesn't give the illegals a free pass to come across the border illegally and expect to get all the things that we legal citizens have gotten that are even more than extremely beneficial to and for us. Yes, I understand they want to get things that are beneficial for them as well, even why they come across the border illegally. But there's a better way to do it. And it may be time consuming and week consuming and day consuming and hourly consuming and money consuming, but it needs to be done in order to come in here and actually legally get the benefits that we American people have gotten. The illegals need to quit coming across the border illegally and go through the process legally by doing some paper filling out, filling out forms and such. I'm not against the illegals in the spiritual sense, though. That's a stronger aspect than anything. But I'm also a law-abiding citizen, a constitutional-abiding citizen. The liberals are not, obviously. Neither is Jerry Brown, neither is Gavin Newsom, obviously. Because if Gavin Newsom was a constitutional abiding citizen, he would take down the sanctuary city and state status in the beginning of his first term. He didn't do that. He would quit bullshitting the citizens and making phony ass, fake ass promises and actually do something that's beneficial for the American people within the state of California and ignore the party. That would consider him to be a true humanitarian to and for the citizens and our youth within the state of California. But he didn't do that. He kept things as they were and went towards the speed train project. Made things even worse in the economical standings and aspects within the state of California and its citizens, and basically which negatively affects the citizens in one way or another. And which means the taxes have to be raised just a tad bit in minds of the liberals. I'm not a liberal. I'm not even a Democratic voter, so I don't go for that shit. Even when I was a Democratic voter in my youth, I still didn't go for that shit. So all in all, Gavin, you only have one option. In order to reopen the state, for one, make sure that everybody's within the proper guidelines, and who gives a shit about the CDC? The CDC is against the American people within this whole entire country. In fact, the CDC has been sued more than once, even with this particular pandemic, which is politically motivated by the liberal Democratic Party. Basically, a mental manipulation of an attack towards the American people and against the American people in the action and forthright aspects of the liberal Democratic Party, in which the Democratic Party should never ever go against the citizens of the United States of America. But that's exactly what they're doing, isn't it? As I've said, the liberal Democratic Party are tired of benefiting the American people before the party itself is benefited. But that's exactly how the forefathers put it, to where the American people in this country and our youth are benefited first. Then the party is benefited to a percentage, even a fair percentage at that. But no, the liberal Democratic Party wants to be benefited first before anything or anybody else. That's not the way the ball bounces, you idiot liberals. That's not the way the ball bounces, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Gavin Newsom and Jerry Brown. And it's not the way the ball bounces in reality and logic, Darrell Steinberg. You know that even with all that happening, Darrell Steinberg, and who is now the mayor of Sacramento, and who was known as the senator of California, one of the senators of California, I should say, rather in that sense, that he voiced to get, at one time he voiced to get low-income housing for those who are on low-income, livable wages, if you will, both that were working and those that were receiving supplemental security, that were only able to afford the low-income cost and effects and whatnot of being independent, uh, being able to survive, the whole enchilada there. And he also voiced, Darrell Steinberg also voiced the aspect of getting housing for the homeless. Not too long after that, I made a video with the phone when I was on my outings. And with the phone, I made a video while waiting for the light rail. And right by the cathedral church, across from the cathedral side of the station, if you will, or the stop, really the light rail stop, I videotaped with this phone here, of a homeless person leaning against, mostly by his back, against the stairway alongside the cathedral church in Sacramento. And I voiced something on there as well, to the points to where, yeah, and that Darrell Steinberg voiced of getting housing not only that's affordable for those who were on low income wages in the sense of employment, as well as those who were on low income wages when it came to the aspect of supplemental security income. And also for the homeless, be that our homeless vets and the homeless in general. And even before his reelection, before Steinberg's reelection, he still didn't do a damn thing. He just kept on saying it and saying it and saying it, and no action. Yes, things do take time, but not years upon year upon year upon year. Even as there's more propositions that pop up, like 21 and various others of the propositions. Basically, it's a waiting game for the citizens of California when it comes to the mindset of the liberal Democratic Party that are governing and being the general senators of California. Basically, they think by promising something to the American people, even within the state of California, that's a beneficial thing to and for the party. You know what that would also ring to be as well in a spiritual sense. Gavin Newsom and Steinberg, sinful lies, deception, mind manipulation, like the liberal Democrats are doing with this pandemic to the American people. Saying something that's not really around because the small string that came into the U.S. to start with is dead and gone. But yet, the liberal media is being coerced by the liberal Democrats to keep on saying that the damn virus is still around when it's not. The damn thing's dead. The damn thing's gone. It's a mind manipulation done by the liberal Democratic Party, starting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and it's being carried on with every other liberal fucking politician in each different state. Not only California and not only New York. And with that, before all that happened, there was a tax hike in the sense of the what's known out in California, anyways, I should say, really, as the C.R.P.H.A, the California Redemption Value, that was increased when it came to the soft drinks and other refreshments in the state and city and county of New York, as it's a beneficial thing for the city and county of New York. No, all it does is have the citizens pay more than what we Californians have to pay and other states have to pay, regardless of who's governing each different state outside of New York to start with. So New York, you fucked up on that. New York governor and mayor fucked up on that big time. Yes, New York is expensive in the aspect of living and surviving, but that needs to change as well. It shouldn't be about the one that makes the most, and those who even don't make the most still have to spend the most. That's not logical. Nor is that realistic, nor is that beneficial for either side of the American people who make the most are able to spend the most. The ones that don't make that most are still being told that they have to spend the most. Even in the state of California, they're the same damn thing. The ones that make the most are able to spend the most. But the ones that don't are not 100% depending on the tax variations within per county are expected to spend more than they really can afford, or even for those who even are expecting to spend even on themselves, as well as say their friends or family members or dates for them, even while they're in a relationship or marriage. Same thing. Yes, things do cost money, but not to the point to where it goes more beneficial for the party and where things are more beneficial for those who make the most and are able to spend the most. There has to be and there must be a thing to where it can be more leveled in the aspect of fairness and actual logic and realistic levels, to where ones that do not make the most and the ones that are not able to spend the most to where they're able to still survive and make it through every day of every week of every month and every year. They should not be expected to spend more than they really have, because as the old saying goes, the dollar needs to be able to last, not be wasted. And unbeknownst to those who are able to spend the most, that doesn't last very long. Not as much as you think. You could be like Steve Jobs, but eventually, when you get to the point of retirement, then it goes back to where you're in the same boat as everybody else has been, even when you were able to spend the most. It would go with the same aspect of the Hollywood starlets and the Hollywood stars. They are able to spend the most because they make the most, right? But that's not going to last very long either. They'll eventually be in the same boat as every other person that's not able to spend the most and that doesn't make the most. Obviously, it's hard for the liberal politicians within both New York as well as California and other states to comprehend that. It's not as hard as you think, to where you're not able to make it more leveled and more to the point of simplification or equal, if you will. More on the aspect of fair. Yes, life is not fair, but that doesn't mean don't have to be fair or can't be fair on the economic standings of things and the aspect of spending. This is true. What I said, even against and about the liberal Democrats, is also true. What I've said, even in my other videos about the liberal Democrats, is also true. But yet they will keep doing the negative. Obviously, they think that they are not without sin. They think that they are able to continuously do things and still be able to be in heaven, even as they go against the American people and mentally manipulate the American people. Even with this pandemic, which is more and more being found out, this whole thing was a ploy, an attack against the American people. It wasn't really an actual virus. And while this virus was going on, the fucking physicians, the so-called trusted physicians, were being paid under the table by diagnosing a patient of each patient across the United States, as if they have something known as COVID-19 when they really don't. It was all a ploy to where the physician would be able to be paid more under the table, metaphorically. The metaphorical under the table aspect, not the metaphorical payment. Which shows that the physicians are going against their oath, the Hippocratic oath, where it's more about the patient, not the dollar damn bill. More about the patient, not about the pharmaceutical aspect. more about the patient and their lifelong and basically their own aspect of living, the patient's living and wanting to survive and live a long life and stay healthy and strong. But obviously, to those doctors, it was more about them and their wallets than it was about the patient and the well being and health of the patient. Those who go into that aspect should be getting their license of the medical practice taken away without question. No, and also there shouldn't be a thing to where it is being reported of that action being done to where there's a hearing within the medical board. Mm-mm. Because the physicians would lie through their teeth that are doing of what I said, just so they can stay in the practice and continue doing the illogical, inhuman, sinful actions, only to benefit them. Many people may not believe that it's happening, but it has happened, and it still is. And with that, the pandemic is not real. Many people, even the Kaiser Permanente and other commercials I've seen, have said, during these trying times. What trying times? Even Kaiser Permanente is saying the COVID-19 pandemic is real. No, it's not. Because as I've said even before that damn commercial of Kaiser Permanente saying the COVID-19 pandemic is real, before they even made that damn video, that damn fucking commercial, I've even said the pandemic is fucking not happening. The strain that came into the US was weak and it's no longer in existence. Therefore, also with that it goes into the aspect of the pandemic is a manipulative action done forth by Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of the liberal Democratic Party. And even schools that were set to be open and actually open, they reclosed them now, didn't they? Think about that. So basically, it's a manipulative action done by the liberal Democrats. Just to make Trump look bad, as if he's not doing what he can do within his own constitutional actions that a president is supposed to do. He's being attacked and downgraded for it. You cannot expect one person, even with Mike Pence. You can't expect one person to completely do things like a fucking genie. Like fucking Q from Star Trek The Next Generation to snap his fingers and everything is all taken care of. But at the same time, it's a sinful action that even Biden's doing by mentally manipulating and making phony ass, fake ass promises to the American people, even through his commercials and even in the debate. He knows he's not going to do those things that he promises. He knows he doesn't intend to do those things that he promises. And he knows that he will take down and destroy the Social Security Administration. To where that means everybody who has the supplemental security income is out in the street. not able to survive. He didn't even make a thing to where there'd be a better system to where the senior citizens and the mentally and physically disabled and handicapped and the diagnosed disabled and the born disabled would be able to still survive and be independent. He didn't come up with anything on that aspect. But yet, on his commercials, he's saying that he's promising, and he knows he won't pull through with the promise of saying that the people who are on supplemental security will get a pay increase. That's a load of shit. You know it, Biden. You don't really truly intend to do any of the things that you promised on that damn commercial. And any of your ads, your political ads, you don't intend to do. And with that, the vaccine, ladies and gentlemen, the vaccine that Biden says he would make sure it's test generally put through. Not he didn't mention of it being properly tested to where it wouldn't harm the American people from within the body of each American person. Because without it being properly tested, it will destroy every cell in your body once it's injected. Much like the aspect of many drugs that have been taken in the 1950s and 60s, even during the hippie era. The drugs only made you feel good for only so long, but all the while is destroying every bit of your system from within you, and you don't even feel it half the time, if at all. But even that feeling good aspect only lasts for so long. And I'm not going to say the vaccine's going to be like that, but it could be just like a regular shot, but at the same time, while you feel at ease and everything, it could be destroying every cell in your body to where when you go to sleep that same night, you may not wake up the next or anything beyond it. And I'm not doing a scare tactic either on that. I'm being honest. But under Trump, the vaccine will be properly tested to where it does not affect anybody. But yet, really, why do a vaccine when you don't really need one when the COVID-19 thing is bullshit, a mental manipulative thing done by the liberal Democrats? That would put scientists in harder work for practically nothing. They would come up with various things, various scientific things where the vaccine would turn into vaccine, even with knowing that the liberals are mentally manipulating the American people and thinking that the pandemic coronavirus is still around when it's not. Therefore, it's a mental manipulation even against the scientists now, isn't it? Even as I say this, I know the liberals are hating it. I don't give a damn. I care about the American people and our youth. I care about this country and the benefits that this country deserves and the American people and our youth deserve. If the liberal politicians don't like me for that reason, among other things I've said about them that is true, that they will outrightly deny, I don't care. Yes, I'm a caring person, yes. But when a group of people like the liberal Democrats do things that are both sinful, ungodly, un-American, illogical, basic, even in the aspect of mental manipulation against the American people in the benefit of making more money for the party and where it only would benefit the party. I don't like that. I'm more than 100% against that. The party in Washington, both parties in Washington, not only the Republican Party, are supposed to do things that benefit this country and the American people and our youth all in one, and wait for the benefit that comes to them. And they don't have to wait long as much as they think, or even may delusional have a delusional thought of. You know what I mean? And now, going back on to Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, do you realize why, while you were elongating the aspect of going through the procedures that Disneyland put forth for each and every one of the parks, even in the state of California, in Anaheim, California, that there's been massive layoffs? More than 4,000 Imagineers lost their jobs, which makes it harder on you and makes the aspect on Gavin and the look upon Gavin very bad, which makes it even more and more of a chance that Gavin will not be in for a second term. Even if he has the support and backing of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, it will not matter. Because the American people within the state of California, as well as the American people within the whole entire state and within the whole entire United States, are more than sick and tired of their being mentally manipulated and sinfully coerced in believing something that's not really there. Even as they are continuously being told bullshit which has been put forth by the Liberal Democratic Party. And even with the fake no action type promises, even by Biden, and the fake and phony promises saying even about social security, even though with the fact that he knows he will completely dismantle the Social Security Administration to where everybody who's on supplemental security and will soon be on supplemental security will be out in the street. So basically, that's only if Biden is put in office. That's exactly what will happen when it comes to supplemental security, and he will not do any of the other things that he promises. Even when it comes to the new home and first time buyer of home loans, that will not happen either. That will not materialize either. None of what he promises in his debates, in his campaign commercials that Biden promises, none of it will materialize. And that is more than a for sure thing. No, I'm not saying this in defense of Trump. I'm saying this because I care about everybody in the U.S. I care about our youth. I care about every American citizen that's in this country, and has been even born in this country. Whether you believe it or not, I don't. That's your right. That's your right. But I'm giving you the information I know to be more than logical, more than legible, and more than factual, and more than true. It's up to you to find out if it's true if you so choose. So basically, at this point, even it can more and more stand to reason that Gavin has no leg to stand on, even legally, even constitutional. He may try as he may, it doesn't matter, but he will not go in for a second term, even if he plans to. Even if he has a delusional mind of thinking that the California citizens are more than pleased with what he has and has not done. Even with the things that he has not done, still can benefit the California citizens and our youth. Even as he elongates things. Every manipulative, sinful action that even Biden does and says is against this Bible. Everything that Nancy Pelosi has done and said that is bullshit and mind manipulative. And even that KCRA3 and every other liberal station through NBC, CBS, ABC has manipulated the American people with is against this Bible. For you are being judged right now while you're living, and you will be continuously, and you will be judged even when your time is up on this planet. And that message goes to the Liberal Democratic Party and Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi, and many of the other Liberal Democratic Party, and even those who are in the liberal media, even those in the newspaper supporting the liberals. That message goes to them as well. If you are so deluded in thinking that you will not be put into the brink of hell, the more you mentally manipulate the American people and our youth, keep thinking that, because you are being judged for every wrong thing you do, just like anybody else would be. The more the politicians mentally manipulate the American people through the Democratic Party, the more chances they will be judged, and the more chances they will face judgment when their time is up on this planet, and the more they will be sent to the brink of hell and damnation. So they can go to the points of just not believing it all they want. I don't care. But what I say and what I have said, even in this video, is more than 100% factual and true and logical and spiritually positive. And fact. American people, I hope that you know that I don't want you to make the wrong choice of voting for Biden. Then you find out what I say to be true. Everybody will find out what I said to be true. Then we'll have to live with it like we did with Obama, even with the fact that Obama was a wrong choice, and it was proven by his actions and non-actions and his phony ass promises and his phony ass no action promises. Even as the fact that he said, I won, get over it. Slammed the door right on C-SPAN and John Boehner and the Republicans. Even after the fact that he said he would work with the Republicans, he did not. And yet the Republicans were trying to work with him. But he kept on fucking giving them the runaround. That's not working with the Republicans, Obama. So, Gavin, you want to talk with me? Let me know. You want to fucking find out why I say the things that I've been saying on each and every one of my videos, even about you and Jerry Brown? I'm here. Let me know. I ain't afraid of you, and I know you think that I'm telling a lot of bullshit when I'm not. Everything that I've said about you, Gavin, and Jerry Brown, and about Obama, Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi is more than 100% true, and I don't care if you like it or not. But I'm telling the American people the truth, facts, not only of what I see and how I see it, but what has been played out. Yes, people view things differently. I get that, and I respect that. But the end result is always as what I've said. And many people may view it and voice it differently. That's fine, but it still will ring as it's a non-beneficial action and and end point to the whole, where it doesn't benefit the American people and our youth at all. So all in all, Gavin, you have no leg to stand on, and you're deluding yourself and lying to yourself if you think that you're going to be able to win for your second term. And if you think that the petition to recall you to get you out of the seat of governor of California state governor, if you think that's a rumor, it's not, Gavin. And pretty soon, and once everything's all tallied up in the petition, and even if Gavin decides to fight against it, which he won't be able to because what I said on this video to start with might be used. Who's to say? But the basic fact is, I speak the truth. And I will never BS the American people. I will never BS things even for and about our youth in the state of California as well as the United States of America. I'm always one to be honest with everybody, even with the information I've said on this video as well as my other videos of C.R.P.H.A. If you have any questions, please let me know on my C.R.P.H.A. Humanitarian and the C.R.P.H.A. Citizen Advocate pages of Facebook. And do know, I salute our troops and who are also our vets and the ones that are still defending and who are also deployed and defending our rights and freedoms and the American people and the country. And also, I salute those who were not able to come home and those who died for our freedom and our rights and the Constitution and what the flag behind me stands for. And I salute Donald J. Trump. I'm Mike Pence, and I thank you for your service, and I will vote Trump and Pence for 2020. And once again, now, American people, please take into more than consideration of what I said. And do note, I'm not going against your rights or freedoms. I would never do that. I would not go against your choices of who you vote for and who you don't, and why. But I'm telling you the information on every one of my videos, which is true. Something that the liberals don't want you to hear, I've been telling you. Something that the liberals don't want the American people to know, I've been telling you. But the whole entire end result of it all, even if I don't agree with it, I still support it as an advocate and as a humanitarian and as a strong spiritual person as I am. But know that I would never lie to you, I would not deceive you, I would not sway you as much as Joe Biden's trying to sway you. And as much as Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer is trying to sway you. Even in the aspect of believing something that's not in actuality about them versus their opposing party being the Republicans in the view of the Democrats, but in the view of Republicans, the only negative, sinful party is the liberal Democrats. The ones that are truly going against the American people are the Democrats. Known, as you heard me say on each one of my videos, the socialist liberal Democrats. And you've heard me say the socialist liberal dumbass Democrats. What I've said even on this video is an actuality. But even I know the end result is up to you, American people, of who you choose to vote for and who you choose not to. And what you choose to believe, that's one another other thing that we all have a right to do. But I know I can add this, is that if Biden gets his way and gets into the White House, our rights and freedoms in the Constitution will be non-existent. The aspect of what the liberals want, which is big government, which is against the Constitution, which would also go against our rights and completely divide the American people and this country, is the aspect of socialism and big government, all in one. Think about that. This is C.R.P.H.A, humanitarian and citizen advocate. May Heavenly Father, in our Savior's name, bless the American people and the United States of America, and Trump for 2020, for President of the United States of America, and Mike Pence as Vice President of the United States of America. Have a good day.